Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Constantine the Third here. So today I'm going to bring you guys a video, as I'm sure you can tell from the title, that is all about laning against Caitlyn as Vayne. So to start off, let's break down what this matchup is looking like. So this is me, I'm Vayne. This is on my smurf account, Irish Doc. My main is obviously Constantine the Third. This account right now is Platinum 2, I believe. What was it? This is a duo killing of a friend of mine. He's low gold. This Caitlyn right here is gold 2. So this is like a high gold game for all intensive purposes, right? So let's just start off the recording over here. So the lane matchup is Nami Vayne, which is a really strong lane, as I'm sure you guys are going to get to see, versus Caitlyn Thresh. So before we even start this game, let's talk about the win conditions of each bot lane. So how Vayne and Nami are going to beat Caitlyn is that I'm going to trade with Caitlyn when she doesn't have her headshot and her peacemaker up, right? When she has those cooldowns, I can approach her and I can win trades with Nami's Tidal Waves calling buff. But I also have to be really careful because if I get hooked by Thresh or flayed by him, then I just die, right? In this lane, I'm maxing out Silver Bolt so I can actually kill Thresh because he has a lot of health. And the main concern is just going to be Nami or I getting hooked. So as you can see from the start of this lane right now, these melee minions are about to die. So this is where I make my first smart choice in this lane matchup. See where I'm standing right now? I am standing way the hell back here, okay? I'm very aware that because this is Caitlyn, this is going to be a rough lane for me, that I do not want to go in and trade for those CS. I'm not going to fight her for it. She's going to control this lane, and I'm going to let her do that. So I'm just going to stay in the back over here and not get close to the minions. Because if I do, I'm going to get... Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to get poked by Caitlyn, and I'm only going to approach to go for CS. So that CS was safe to go for, because... excuse me. Because if you look at this lane, right? That CS I just went for, Caitlyn had to make a choice. She's either going to auto-attack me or use her Piltover Peacemaker or lose a CS. I knew it was safe to go for because she's obviously going to choose to take the CS. I'm going to tumble right here and take that CS. And I'm always just going to make sure I keep a really big distance between Caitlyn and I. And just make sure that I only go for CS when she's going to be CSing, right? So again, see this range creep right here? I'm going to approach it. See where I stood this from? I'm going to walk over here. This is really safe for me to do. Why? Because I see Caitlyn is backing up because she's trying to take this CS, so it's free right here. Also, I know that even if Thresh is sitting right here, he's not going to be able to hook me because he's level 1 and he doesn't have a hook. And right now what I'm trying really hard to do is make sure I hit level 2 at the same time that Caitlyn does. So I'm just going to power down these creeps or whatever, and we hit level 2. So now the lane dynamic is going to change a little bit. You can see that Thresh has his Q up and his Flay. Caitlyn, let's see, what spell did she take? She took her net. Okay, so they're going to try to go for a kill level 2 for sure. I mean, and they always would. I mean, whether she took traps or net, Thresh is always going to take Flay and Hook, so he's going to be ready to go in for a kill at any time. And again, right here, I am showing a lot of respect for Caitlyn. I'm not going to go for this CS over here until I know that it's safe. And even though she did get a headshot proc on me, if she does that enough, I can just get healed back up by Nami. So I'm not too worried about getting poked down by Caitlyn super quickly. If I had like a Leona or something, I would. But again, I'm not too overwhelmingly concerned. Also, an important thing, I've warded this brush right here. See how I'm playing this? Whenever I see Thresh walk into this brush over here, I'm respecting his zone control and I'm standing by minions. So even if he does decide to go all in, that was just really dumb of him. So he whiffed the Flay right there, and whenever an opponent misses something like that, you have to punish them for it, right? So now this is really important right here, okay? So Thresh has 2 stacks of Silver Bolts on him, right? And I still have my Tumble. A lot of people here would be like, oh, this is a great opportunity to tumble in on him and get the 3rd proc. Absolutely not. That is completely wrong. I don't have any minions to protect me right here. If I were to go aggressive on him and go for damage, he would hook me and kill me. Not only that, but I'm also getting attacked by Caitlyn. So I'm just going to, again, respect their zone control. They are better laners than Vayne is. I'm going to back off and simply let them have control of this lane, right? I'm going to back up, I'm going to take this safe minion right here, and I'm not going to fight them, because I respect them, right? And obviously, I knew I could go for that poke right there because I have Tumble. Unless the enemy Thresh is a god, you know that if they're going to throw their hook out at you, you can just tumble out of it. And even if I did get hooked, Caitlyn really wasn't in a super great position to follow up, and I knew Thresh had just used his Flay, so that's on cooldown. And during all of this time, I am not going towards the minion wave. I know I am losing CS, but again, if I approach that minion wave, I'm going to get poked out by Caitlyn, and that's simply not an option. I need to take as safe of CS as I can get and do it without getting killed. And also, right there when I hit Cait with the auto attack right there, that's just knowing the lane matchup. I knew that she was going to go for a, 90 caliber net, which is why I didn't continue trading with her. Playing Vayne is really difficult sometimes because you have to know exactly what your opponents are going to do, and you have to play around it, right? You can win this lane, you just have to play it exceptionally well. Like, basically to put this in perspective for you, the way you have to play Vayne into Caitlyn is that you just simply have to outplay your opponent constantly, right? You need to play around all of their abilities, you need to dodge things, you need to be expecting everything whenever it comes, and you need to manipulate the lane in the way it's favorable. Also, right here, another important thing. I saw that Thresh, as my ward was dying, was approaching this way. See how many creeps they have? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 enemy creeps on me. And my 3 are about to die. And they also have a level advantage on me. And again, this seems obvious, and I'm sorry if it is obvious to you, but it might not be. Whenever an enemy like this has even the slightest advantage, you have to respect it. You have to back off, and they're just going to push this into the tower, right? Now, when they push this into the tower, what should happen is that my jungler should be ganking for me. Okay, I mean, he's mid lane right now. But that's okay, he's doing things. And that's perfectly acceptable. But whenever they push it in like this, Vayne has really nice follow-up on ganks of her Condemn, right? Nami has a slow and a bubble. So if I can just hold this at this tower here, even if I am going to be losing CS because, obviously it's being pushed under tower, what was it? Oh yeah, and this is unfortunate. My support, unfortunately, messes up like 4 or 5 CS for me because she just doesn't auto-attack it right, but that is okay. It's not going to be an insurmountable loss. If you are playing as Vayne, into a Caitlyn Vayne and it's solo queue, make sure you let your support know, like, oh, this is how you last hit creeps under tower, help me out here, right? And, like, until you get to, like, I don't know, probably Platinum, I would say, they're not going to know how to do that. So just let them know. So now, let's look at the state of the lane right now. So the early levels are now over. We're now kind of in halfway through the early laning phase. Let's check our stats. So right now, we are tied in CS. That is what we call a miracle. I have not burned my healing potion. Also a miracle. Why? Because I positioned well, I played the trades well, and I also was extremely careful and very respectful of their zone control. Now, this Caitlyn is gold 2, right? So, again, she's not bad. Gold is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But she should have a CS lead right now. Right now, she should have about, like, 30, 35 CS, and I should be at 25. And you know what? That is fine. If you are playing against an opponent as Vayne, you should end laning phase with about 20 CS down. That is what is expected. 15, 20 CS down on your opponent, that is okay. The most important thing in the entire universe is to not die. So, moving forward, we know this. I'm tied on CS, I still have my healing potion and all my summoner spells. That's basically as good of an ending laning phase against a hard counter lane like this as you could possibly expect. I got really lucky that I got that CS right there, by the way. I shouldn't have gotten that. Alright, and again, what was it? I'm going to stay back and give them respect in their zone control. Now, Nami gets hooked right here. So this is really important. So, the support got hooked, right? I'm going to dump all of my damage into Caitlyn. And also, right there, remember that condemn disengage technique I was talking about? I knock her away. I don't want to be trading right now, right? This is not something I want to be doing. I want to knock her away and get her out of the fight and reset the wave. That when I can beat Caitlyn and Thresh 2v2 with Nami is when I get my Blade of the Ruined King. Until that point in time, I don't want to fight them. They have every advantage in the entire world. I'm just going to disengage on them, right? Caitlyn walks back into the bubble, right? So that means I think I should get another trade on, what was it? Yeah. And so then I just ran out the trade that way. So, as you can see, Caitlyn had a level advantage there too. And I was able to turn that trade around because I made sure to focus the enemy ADC rather than Thresh. If Thresh has dumped all of his CC into the support, you should always go after the enemy ADC. If it's a Caitlyn, the big thing you have to watch out for is you don't want to get hit with her net, right? That's going to result in her winning the trade really hard. You want to get 3 stacks of silver bolts, and then you want to disengage. You want to end the trade. It looks kind of stupid to just condense someone like that, like not into a wall, but trust me, once she got her Peacemaker over and I got my Throw Silver Bolts, there was nowhere but down that trade was going for me. This was as good as it could get. And I didn't want Nami to die, basically, was what my fear there was. If she died, that would have made this late infinitely harder. So I'm going to go back to CSing or whatever. I'm not going to go for that range creep because I don't want to get hooked or, poked or all host of bad things that could happen to Vayne. And again, I'm just going to let them push the wave in. I'm going to last hit under tower, and I'm going to be really passive until I hit my Blade of the Ruined King power spike. Because at that point in time, Caitlyn will not be as strong as I will be because she needs really, IE plus an attack speed item to be really strong. I just need Blade of the Ruined King, and I'll be reasonably strong at that point in the game. That's when I really start to outscale her, is once we get our first items. But, in lane, Vayne is definitely significantly weaker than Caitlyn is. Well, I mean, pretty much any ADC besides Lucian is weaker than Cait, but you get the idea. I'm not sure why I tumbled there. That was a mistake I shouldn't have. I should have saved it for when Thresh went for a hook. I managed to sidestep it, but if he would have aimed it a little bit better, I could have gotten really punished for using that tumble. And yeah, I'll just speed this up because this is boring. We're last hitting under the tower, blah, blah, blah. You guys know how to do that. And I'm just going to wait until something interesting happens. And yeah, I'm just, again, important thing to note, let me go back on that a little bit. Ooh, that was interesting. Teleportation. So see where I'm positioning right here? I'm making sure to where if Thresh wants to throw a hook, I have just one way that I can step, right? I can hide behind these minions over here and not get hit by it. And that's what happens here. So I'm going to walk over here, and he's going to throw out the hook. And yeah, I'm just going to stand behind these minions. He can't hit me. And, I mean, should he have not gone for that hook? Absolutely. What was it? That was just a dumb hook to go for, but it's life. Also, right there, that trade we just did, we punished Thresh. We saw that he had a CC on cooldown, and we just went in on him, we traded on him. Why? Because if they wanted to go all in, we had more cooldowns than he did, and we could fight him. Also, right here, Caitlyn doesn't have a 90 caliber. She doesn't have her Piltover Peacemaker. So I'm just going to go in and poke her. And again, I knew they were going to go and try to use all of their CC on me, because it looked like I was going in for an all-in trade, so I'm just going to back up, and they're going to miss everything, right? Now, and again, and this is a very tenuous balance here with Vayne. If you make one mistake and you get caught, you lose the lane. And that's it sucks. It's shitty, but that's what you get for having a champion who can 1v5 in the late game, right? You have to have some sort of weakness. And again, I know his hook is on cooldown, so I can just trade with him right there really easily. And just getting some good chunk in, so if we ever do get caught or whatever, we have a head start, right? It's always a good idea to trade in lane, right? You never should just be really passive and just, not do anything. Whenever enemies have cooldowns up or you see an opportunity like that to get a free auto attack in, take it. It doesn't hurt. It makes them burn healing potions, giving you a gold lead. If you get a gank, they'll be lower on health, and it'll make it more likely to get a kill. Just always trade when you see it. But this is what... The next game I played with this support right here, we lost it. It was against a Lucian Bard, I think. And we lost it because he was trying to make what I call proactive trades. As Vayne, when you're in hard lanes and fighting someone like a Caitlyn or a Lucian, you do not want to do proactive trades. You want to do reactive trades. You want to wait for them to do something and then capitalize it. You want to wait for Lucian to dash in on you, and then you want to tumble out of his piercing light and then get on him. To make a proactive trade would mean you are the aggressor. You walk up to him and you start trading. You will pretty much, there's so much margin for error doing that. That's why when you watch professional games, you don't see the enemy, the ADCs, making a lot of trades on each other, being aggressive, because if you make one mistake, it's a lot easier to capitalize on an enemy mistake than it is to make a play. So you want to be passive, right? But passive doesn't mean not reacting to an enemy mistake. You want to sit there and farm and wait for Caitlyn to have her net or her Q on cooldown, or for Thresh to miss a flay or a hook. Then you can react to that mistake on the enemies and punish them for it. That's how you should lane against Caitlyn. And laning in Vayne in general, that's the big thing you want to do, is reactive laning. Sorry for that jump cut, guys. I just wanted to jump ahead of the laning phase. We were basically playing it the same way, being reactive, making decent trades, and we get into a 2v2 skirmish in which I believe we win. So end of laning phase, well, not end of laning phase, in the middle of the lane right now, this is the middle of the lane. The early game's over. We're now starting to transition a little bit more into the mid game now that we're level 6, but it's still the early game for sure. We are down 10 CS to this Caitlyn. Caitlyn has a BF sword, basic boots, and a dagger. I have my Bilgewater Cutlass and a dagger, and I bought a pink ward, always important to get those, and 2 cookies. So, we are ready to fight. So this fight starts off with me warding the brush, and Thresh misses his flay. So, he missed his flay, right? What does that mean? One of his key CCs is on cooldown, so now is an excellent time for us to go start trading. So, I tumble to the side because I have a feeling Caitlyn's going to use her shit on me, right? So, unfortunately, my support falls victim to this, but I get a really good trade on her, right? So, I see that, number one, she has blown her escape and her Q, and Thresh does not have a flay, right? So, that means that the only cooldowns I have to worry about are Thresh's box and his hook, and his exhaust, which he's already used. So, right now, I still have my Condemn, my support still has her Bubble, so we have more CC on them, and I've already chunked Caitlyn to about health on a really good trade, because she was dumping all the damage into my support. So that's why I pop Final Hour here. I am so ready to go fight this, right? So I'm walking past the Thresh. I'm not bothering autoing when I'm exhausted because that really doesn't do anything. And so I see that my Nami lands a really good bubble on Thresh. Not only that, Caitlyn has ran way the hell out of my range. So I'm just going to turn on Thresh, right? I'm just going to auto him a little bit, get that third stack, and I'm going to drop the Cutlass on him, which slows him, right? Then I'm going to stealth tumble onto him, and I'm going to just condemn him into the wall. I get the slow on him. I get hooked, but it doesn't really matter. And we kill him right there, right? We're going to do some decent chunk to Caitlyn. I potato, and I right-click the tower because I bought my diamond account. And we're going to end the laning phase right there, right? Or we're going to end the kill sequence right there. So, unfortunately, my jungler gets caught and gets me and himself killed when I try to go help him. Because I was dumb, and I shouldn't have helped him. But we're going to jump on to the next jump cut now. And we're back. So, that 2v2 just happened, and we won. Like I said, I got caught trying to help my jungler like a dummy. So, we get killed or whatever, but it's fine. So, right now the state of the lane is thus. We are tied in CS, and we have 1 kill on Caitlyn. I have the mats to Blade of the Ruined King basic boots. Caitlyn has a Zeal, a BF sword, and basic boots, right? So, it's still anyone's game at this point, but I'm feeling very reasonably confident that should we get into a 2v2, I could dumpster them. Not only that, we have a summoner spell advantage. If you look over here, I still have flash and heal, and Nami still has flash, and they have no summoner spells. What happens when our enemies don't have cooldowns? We should go and fight them and kill them because we have an advantage. So, let's go see what happens when that happens. That was a really great sentence. I hope you all enjoyed it. So, I get the Tidecaller's Blessing buff from my support. So, I wasn't really looking to trade it all, but I was like, I have a buff, why not? So then I'm going to tumble to the side to reset my auto attack, and it's also going to get me in range for the bounce, and then I'm going to auto her like that. So she's chunked. And right here I back off because I'm afraid Thresh is in the brush. Let me go switch to my view. I cannot see him, as you guys can see, but I had a feeling he's going to be lurking in there. So if I kept chasing, I would have gotten hooked and boxed and butchered, and it would have been bad. So I'm just going to accept the fact that I got a good trade, right? My support's like, fuck that shit, you fucking pussy. So he drops the ult, right? And he's like, we're going fucking hard. So I'm like, oh, okay, alright. So I drop the ult, right? I see he gets a good bubble. And now, let's see, get your MLG swag montage music ready. That was as painful for you to watch as it was for me to make. But I make so much fucking free content for you guys. I fucking earned this. So, I get the good trade, right? She drops the ult, or whatever, and Thresh walks up and he flays me, right? So, he drops the pink ward because he knows I'm going to tumble and stuff. That's really smart of him. And I'm thinking this, right? Okay. My main support is Thresh. If I were this guy, what would I do right now? I would hook right here because I know this Vayne is going to be going for my support, right? So I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, what's his next move going to be? He's definitely going to try to hook me, so I'm just going to flash right now because I know if I were Thresh, that's what I would do, and I'm just going to flash that right now. I didn't see it coming. All I did was that I thought if I were him, what would I would do? I would hook. I'm going to flash over it. You too can do this. So, then after that, I just get a real quick condemn finish on her right there. And I'm just going to kite her out or whatever, and he gonna die. It's gonna be good. So, and after that, the game just snowballs out of control with that double kill I got right there. I end the game 8-2. It's an absolute slaughter. And yes, I have successfully navigated laning phase as a Vayne. So, what are the key takeaways from this? What should you do in the future with your Vayne games against a Caitlyn in order to secure success? Number 1, and this is the most important thing, be passive. Don't try to be proactive. Don't be aggressive. Just farm minions and just kind of chill. Number 2, while chilling and farming minions, you need to trade reactively. That means you wait for them to make a move. You dodge their CC, you dodge their skill shot, you wait for their cooldown, you wait till they're hitting a minion, you wait till they do something, and then you start trading with them, right? I see that Caitlyn misses her net, I see that Thresh misses his flay, I see he potatoes and he exhausts a minion, I don't know, something happens, and I'm gonna be like, okay, there is a window of opportunity, I have an advantage because we have more cooldowns than them, I have a level lead, something happens to where it's in my favor, and then I start trading with them. Number 3, think about what your enemies are going to be doing. And this is really difficult, but this is probably the most important part about doing well as Vayne. You need to think, if I were this enemy, what would I be trying to do to me right now? If I am Caitlyn at level 1, how am I going to be fighting this Vayne? Well, I'm going to try to auto-attack her every time she goes in for a creep. What's your response going to be? Well, I'm just never going to go for creeps when you can auto-attack me. I'm going to wait until you're hitting a minion, and then I'm going to go for mine. I'm going to let you zone me, and I'm going to wait until I get Blade of the Ruined King, and then I'm going to kill your ass 2v2. If you're fighting against a Thresh, and he has recently flayed you, and you see that he's lining up for a hook, well, okay, you know that Thresh is going to try to hook you, right? You preemptively flash, you tumble, you move in unpredictable way, you do something to respond in respect to that. Number 4, and this is most important, you need to really respect your enemies. Understand that they will absolutely kill your ass if you make one mistake. And if that happens, you're just going to lose the lane. That was a really bad trade, by the way. You're going to lose the lane. So you need to really respect your enemies and understand that it's a very tenuous balance between victory and defeat. And it's like, one mistake by your enemy will get you an incremental advantage, and one mistake by you is going to lose you the entire game. So you just have to be really careful and be really respectful of your enemies, and not do bad trades like these. I'm being cocky, and I shouldn't be being cocky. If I was doing this earlier in lane, I would have lost this game, but I can afford to now because I'm super fed. So, whatever. Anyway, that is all for now, guys. I hope you found this helpful. I know this is a tough lane matchup, and it can be really frustrating to play as, but I sincerely hope this has given you a glimpse into what to do. That'll be all for now, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, check out my guide, give it an upvote if you enjoyed it. All that good stuff. Take it easy, and I'll catch you guys later.